Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm here on this strange community post to talk about, well, of course, that community post. A couple of days ago, as of recording this anyway, I made a community post basically asking people to give me their genuine, honest complaints about Ponytown. Tell me everything that's wrong with Ponytown. Tell me ways to possibly even improve Ponytown because or based on those complaints. What are your solutions to those complaints that you have, etc., and things like that. So a couple of days have passed. I've been looking through these as the days have gone by and things like that, and I'm still getting comments on it. So if you guys are curious or want to explore this, it's probably different by the time this video is out, but feel free to go to this community post and look through them and things like that to see more complaints and things like that. But also, if you have your own complaints about Ponytown, if you have any things that you really think need to change in Ponytown, things that you absolutely are frustrated by or whatever else, then please do let me know in the comments below, and I'll potentially add it in a future video and in the future, many months in the future. But honestly, the idea of this, the concept of this, is that everyone can just unleash all of their complaints all here in one spot. I can collectively collect them, so to speak, and pass them over to the developers, or potentially put more light on some of these issues that people are having and things like that. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and start with this top comment here, this first comment, which was posted 1 minute ago. Thank God I started when I did, because this person is complaining about feeling their nerves solidify when they witness minors can get access to 18+ server. This is a genuine complaint. I absolutely hate that minors can get access to the 18+ server, but there's not a whole lot you can do besides just straight up ask players for their personal identification, which I don't think is going to bode well for Ponytown if they try to do. Obviously, when you make an account, it asks for your date of birth and things like that. And so if you put in your date of birth, you can put in whatever fake date you want. But if you put something that's underage, then obviously it's going to restrict you from the PG server until you're old enough. So there's no real ways to just block minors from the 18+ server other than, hey, if you see them on the 18+ server and they're underage, then report them, have them banned from the 18+ server so that they can only access the PG server and so on and stuff like that. But they also talk about how that players perform toxicities in strategic areas like spawn point, docks, bakery, and things like that. And the report system is absurd. You will see this complaint a lot in this video as well, and in the game and around the community and things like that. The report system is absurd. It's not very good. It absolutely sucks because you have to block the person. You have to hide the player that you're reporting, right? You have to hide them. You have to go back to the main menu like this, go to the about page or the help page, and then do this, and then copy and paste this. So hit this, copy this, go to your email, paste that in there, and then tell them what happened. Give them your Ponytown ID, and tell them that you hid them so that they can find them easier in your hidden list, and so on and so on. It's a whole complicated system. There's no clear way to do it, and it needs a proper system behind it. They need something where it's like a report button, where every player, if you click on them, there is, of course, the friend button, the party button or whatever else and things like that, and then a report button. You report them, and then it redirects you or gives up some kind of menu that tells you, hey, what's going on? Is this person underage? It just gives you a few things that you can auto fill out that will just automatically fill out this stuff, sort of like common things that you would report someone for, such as, hey, this person's underage, hey, this person's being racist, or hey, this person's being this or whatever. Just common things like that. That would be the ideal report system in my opinion, especially since the moderators would be able to just open up a menu and go through all the complaints and things like that instead of having to check their emails and share this email and things like that. It's a whole system that is just honestly broken right now. It's absurd. And a report system should eventually come out. Hopefully it eventually comes out, but we just got to give them a little bit more time. They only recently gave out applications to get more moderators and things like that. So the new moderators is a whole system that we have to go through. Obviously, they have to go through all the applications. They have to remove all the ones that are trolls. They have to remove all the ones that are, obviously not suited for the job. Then they have to find the ones that are suited for the job, decide amongst however many they have to decide amongst. Then they have to give those people that they decided amongst trials, where they're slightly moderators but not fully moderators for a brief time, and then eventually make them proper full-on moderators. So it's a whole system. It's going to take a long time before those moderators from that application that was released a while ago actually become moderators and things like that. So it's a whole thing. But this person complains more and basically says that you could assign or assemble a 14+ server. I don't know if this is a typo. Usually people talk about a 13+ server, but this is something that I personally don't really agree will actually help the game. It might help a little bit, it might help a lot, I don't know, but my personal opinion, I don't think adding a 13+ server where people are allowed to curse and things like that are actually going to kick out underage people from the 18+ server, because the people, the kids that are like 14, 16 or whatever, probably have a lot of friends that are on the 18+ server and only play the 18+ server because, hey, maybe they're 18 or something, and so they only play the 18+ server or something. Who knows? But it's not going to stop the kids from going to the 18+ server. It's just going to potentially motivate them to not go to the 18+ server. So it's not going to be a proper solution. It might help a little bit. I don't know how much it actually would help. And the 13+ server is apparently being worked on, as so says a random screenshot I saw a long time ago. So who knows? But yeah, that's the first complaint there. These are general complaints that I see a lot of and things like that. But moving on, we see another complaint here, basically saying more servers with different languages would be great. I don't necessarily agree with this, just because of the fact that, like, new servers with different languages are only ever added if a large amount of players with those languages come to the game. For example, when the Chinese server was added, there was a huge flood of Chinese players because of a TikTok and things like that, so they added the Chinese server. I don't know what the reason was for the Indonesian server. Perhaps new players came in from there or something like that, so they added it. But that's really the only reason and the only motivation to ever add servers with different languages. So I don't know if this is a good enough complaint that's like, hey, this needs to be addressed immediately. This other user here talks about how they absolutely hate that it's impossible to put things on tables, that they want to put things on empty racks, etc., etc. This is another common complaint that you'll see on this community post, as well as probably the comments on this video, as well as just complaints in the game. Hopefully this will be addressed soon. Who knows how long it'll be, though, but eventually, surely we'll be able to put things on tables, right? This person says that customization is pretty bad. I don't understand this complaint exactly, because if you go to the game right now, go to the characters tab, just look at how much you have. You have all these front body things that you can do. You have different back bodies that you can do. You have different body patterns that you can do. Then you have different leg patterns that you could do. Then you have different hooves that you can do. Then you have different horns. And then, of course, sure, you only have like 4 wings and things like that, and maybe not a whole lot of ears and things like that. But of course, you can customize the cutie mark as much as you want. You can customize the outline of your character as much as you want. We have like 40 mains here. We have like 40 tails here. We have a bunch of different faces that you can make and things like that. Obviously, you can change the color of them. They have different face patterns, and then they have different items. Like, look how many items for the neck they have. Look how many items they have for the head, for the ears, for the eyes, for the face, all this stuff, for the chest, and then the back, and then the legs. Well, there's not that many for the legs or the waist, but you get what I'm saying. There's a lot for a lot of different things, and you can change the color of all these. All of them have different patterns, and you can also customize the outline of all these things. So I don't really get this complaint, but let's move on a little bit more. This person complains about moderation, that stuff said in chats are just as toxic as TikTok or worse, things like that. They want a better report system. They mention how there is a hide Russian language button. I don't know why they mention this in the way that they do, because it doesn't really feel like it matches with their complaint and things like that, but who knows, maybe there's a little bit more to that I don't understand. This next one talks about there's a lack of interactive stuff in Ponytown, which I don't necessarily agree with, but basically they're complaining that there's not enough to do, because they mentioned some ideas about fishing or kite flying or maybe magical relics and things like that. So maybe add more items to collect, or maybe more things to do. Right now, all we have to collect are pearls and clovers, so it is a good enough complaint that there's not enough to collect or enough to do. This person complains that there's not enough sneak peeks, essentially, is basically what they're complaining about. And then they also mentioned that there's not a way to place things on tables. This person, and this is something that I saw a lot in the comments, is basically people talking about, like, hey, you know, let's just give them an idea. Let's not complain about anything. Let's just say, hey, this would be an awesome idea, and they just gave an idea. And their idea was basically allowing them to implement transparent options towards part of the outline, etc., which I don't think is a very good idea for many reasons. This person says that it needs an in-game report system. Again, you'll see this a lot in the game, as well as in comments and things like that all over the community. There's people constantly complaining that there's not an in-game report system or a proper report system. This person also complains that the mods are offline 95% of the time, which I did correct them and basically say that, like, they don't have to be in the game 90% of the time. They look through emails and things like that to look through the reports and then investigate and stuff like that. So that's what's going on there. This person's complaining about the layering system, which I kind of agree with, but there are some layering systems or layering things that are useful, but being able to put things on tables would be ideal. Then this person again says that there's a bad report system. This person says that they want a bigger grid for the cutie marks, that 5x5 is a joke. If we go to it right now, like, look at this. This is just tiny. This is a 5x5 grid. That's tiny. You can't do a lot with this. There's so many complaints about the tables in the reporting system, but then you just have random comments like this where it's just like, I would like for them to add weather. They obviously gave a whole lot of explanation on things like that, but then they also gave this other random idea to add an invisible barrier near the food at the bakery, which I think is an absolutely dumb idea. This person, again, complaining about how Ponytown has been more toxic lately, at the point where they don't even want to play anymore. They're complaining that the game has been toxic and that it's been getting more toxic as time goes on. I don't know if I've necessarily recognized this or have seen this, but I can see that there are toxic players. That is a thing. I do see it every now and again at the docks where people are just complaining about this random thing, and it creates this huge group of people arguing and stuff like that. I see that all the time, but, you know, I don't know if there's necessarily been an increase in that, so who knows. There's a complete lack of guidance when new players enter Ponytown for the first time. Z-phobia here. This is a very good complaint. This is the only person that has complained about this that I've seen in these comments, as well as like in the game and things like that. But we really do need some kind of tutorial or some kind of thing that like tells you more information before you enter the game, which is what I suggested here, like seeing more information before you enter the game, because nobody knows where the caves are, nobody knows where the bakery is, nobody knows how to get the toy on your head, nobody knows how to get to your party island, nobody knows how to customize the party island, nobody knows how to interact with players, nobody knows how to use emojis, nobody knows how to friend someone, how to add someone to your party, how to whisper to someone, or if they do know how to whisper to someone, they probably don't know how to stop whispering to them. I've seen that a lot as well, and people being confused on like, how do I stop whispering to people? There's so much that, you know, players like myself or some players like you that are watching this video that are like, oh yeah, that's super simple. How do they not know? Are they dumb or something? But the truth is, like, none of it's intuitive. None of it is just like, hey, this is how you do it, right? This is a very good complaint, and it's something that I want to see changed. I want to see this as a new thing. And this Z-phobia person is actually really cool because they talked about how they for months were pretending to be an NPC that were actually helping out new players and giving a complete tour around the map and things like that, but they stopped because it got exhausting. This person is like a hero. This person is a noob hero. This person's awesome. This makes me want to do this at the future or something like that. One of their ideas was to actually get like an actual NPC and not just some random player directing people and stuff like that. That was one of their ideas for this. But I think there's so many ways that they can implement tutorials and systems and stuff like that to teach new players how things work. This was a weird complaint to me, because I didn't know this was a thing, but they have a complaint that if someone puts themselves offline and they're in your friends list, you can't hide them or do anything about it when they're problematic, because it just tells you that you can't hide a friend. Which is bad, because if your friend or someone that you friended recently that you're not super familiar with or super friendly with yet or anything like that, or you did it by mistake or something like that, and then this next time you interact with them, they're offline and they're being really mean and terrible to yourself or other players, and they're offline, you can't find them in your friends list, so you don't know who it is, and then you can't hide them and report them or do whatever else. So that, I think that does need to be fixed, and I do think that it was problematic and an oversight. This person is complaining that there's not enough areas to explore. They want something like an ever-free forest, a cave, a castle, etc., etc. They want more to explore and do in the game. Which I agree with. We should have more things to do in the game, but they are adding buildings. We do already have a cave, though, and things like that. Lavender's Home here complained that there's many things that they would like Ponytown to have, but the biggest genuine complaint that they have is that there is a horrendous report system and things like that, and they basically just give a little bit more exclamation on report system and things like that. This person responded with Team Fortress 2 for some reason. I don't know why. The lack of pixel art creation would be a complaint for me. It's not a pixel editor. Why are you complaining that there is no pixel art creation? It's not a pixel editor. It's a horse game. You're not supposed to come on here and make things with pixels. Like, that's not what it is. If you want to make stuff with pixel art, go to Pixel-esque or whatever it's called. There's plenty of pixel editors online that you can go to. There's browser ones that you can go to that you don't even have to download and stuff like that. So I don't understand the complaint. It's weird to me, but let's move on. Their complaint is that it's taking too long to publish the 13 plus server. There's a lot that goes into publishing this server because you have to have a whole new filtering code for the 13 plus server. You cannot just copy the PG filtering code like this person is suggesting, because if you did, then it wouldn't be a 13 plus server. It would just be PG safe server part 2. But I do agree that there is not a lot of good filtering in the game. The filtering in the game definitely needs some work. For example, the custom filters, if you go to the game right now, go to your settings and then go to filters, there's a tab for it. You can customize what you filter out. It needs a lot of work because it is very easy to subvert that, as well as the main filtering system is extremely easy to subvert as well. For example, if you are in the PG safe server or whatever like that and you say sexy, you don't even have to bleep it, you don't even have to change anything on it, you can just say the word sexy. For whatever reason, you're just allowed to say that. I don't know why, but you can just say that. That needs to be changed. They need to have some kind of system in place where that's just not allowed. They also need to try to set up the system in some way where it can detect people trying to subvert it by, for example, if I say the word shit or something like that and I use the like money symbol for the S or something like that, the system needs to be able to detect that I did that and obviously kick me for cursing and things like that. And it needs a little bit more work to stop that subversion and things like that. It needs better detection. Looking through this and trying to find the most common ones that I've seen are the fact that there's no report system or a clear report system or a good report system, etc., however you want to word it. Another complaint saying that there's not a lot to do. People saying that you can't put stuff on tables, which was a very, very large number of complaints that I've seen in this post as well as in the game and things like that. People saying that the mines don't get a lot of love or updates and things like that. But there you have it. Those are all the complaints. I know this was a very long video, but I wanted to go through every complaint. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to try to crunch this down to be as short as possible. I'm going to try to share it to the developers and be like, hey, here's the most common complaints that we're seeing right now and stuff like that. And in the future, if you guys have any complaints, leave them down in the comments below and things like that. 3 months from now, 6 months from now, I'll make another video like this, maybe even make a new community post like this and basically gather more complaints and see what else we need to change and affect in the game to make it better and more fun and enjoyable. A lot of these complaints the developers are probably already aware of, but just in case they aren't, here they are now. And yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all those wonderful things like that. Because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful for yourself. And I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.